truth, screaming from the roof. Here comes the blizzard, full of facts from the wizard. Tell me if you heard, that's the wizard's words. You listen and subscribe, got the perfect vibe. It's going worldwide, that's the wizard's words. Say that again, that's the wizard's words. Say that again, that's the wizard's words. Every single day, it's always the wrong way. I'm looking for the truth, screaming from the roof. Here comes the blizzard, full of facts from the wizard. Tell me if you heard, that's the wizard's words. Every single day, it's always the wrong way. I'm looking for the truth, screaming from the roof. Here comes the blizzard, full of facts from the wizard. Tell me if you heard, that's the wizard's words.
Bit of rap. That's what we call an intro. I'm trying things, mate. Got to try these things. If you don't like it, tell me, can't you? How are we all? I wasn't planning on going live, but alas, I was doing my research. I was going through all the Lucy Letby stuff, and I was like, do you know what? Doing all this and doing all that, I might as well just do it here with you guys. Because that Lucy Letby case is a strange one. And it's a break from bloomin' Julia Wandelt, innit? Blimey. It's, I've gone crazy. I think there's about 28 videos in a playlist for Julia Wandelt. I'm going to get called obsessed. Yes. But what can you do? But let me see what... I've got plenty of windows going on. I'll tell you, there's plenty of information that we can go through. And one of them is actually on Wikipedia. I'll tell you, I was reading that a while back and you get carried away on that. Absolutely loads. Hey, bonjour. Hope you are well. An hour early. 2 p.m. was 11 p.m. So I thought, right, we'll try 1 p.m. to go for 10 p.m. I've got to try these different times, you know what I mean? Australia, America, wherever it is you may live. We've got to try and get it all plan it so we can all rendezvous. Yes, I've got, look, how vain, cup of coffee with my face on it. That logo up there, it's everywhere. Thewizardswords.com. As it, look at that, a little rolling ticker. Tell me if that gets on your nerves and I'll stop it. But, oh, don't need that in my ear either. That's how I can listen to my rap. I wrote that rap, it's quite cool. Wizard's Words. But yeah, we're going to go Lucy Letby. I mean, what do you know? Does anybody know anything about Lucy Letby? You have to let me know in the comments, because we're all, we can all get educated together. I thought that's the best way of doing it. I've read most of this already. I had to, do you know what I mean? It's quite addictive. But all sorts is going on in the world of Lucy Letby, isn't it? Maybe you know, maybe you don't. But, you know, let's learn it together. So, yeah. Yeah, the purple hoodie, that's in the wash. I've got a plain black one. I live in hoodies, I do. I put these, I've got my thingy on underneath, and then I remembered. It's like being Superman. Dun, 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 dun. But, you know not one thing about the case. That's good, because by the time we're finished here, you're going to know absolutely loads of stuff. Because it's a crazy one. But, I mean, it's been all over the news, and then it goes quiet, then it doesn't, then it does. So, it's the font for me. The font. What this font? This is permanent marker font. So what? That's quite cool. Just so you know, can't find it anywhere else. I don't even know why. Some reason I thought, oh, I'll put that shirt on today, and then I thought, oh no, we're doing Lucy Letby. The Wizards being a womble. But how are you, blank faces, or Kelly as we call you. I think I messaged you about tomorrow night doing a Q&A, because you and Danny know probably more than me. But yeah, but it's all good in the hood. But looks like an old font from a PC game I used to have. Yeah, I don't know. I saw it. I think I used it on a few of my items. But yeah, permanent marker. That's what the font is called. So happy days. I need to. I know what I didn't do is I got ready with my the share screen option. That's me being silly. But me bad. Better do that now, won't I? Sharesies and all that. Sharesies. Put me up there. Oh, that'll cover the text. I would, wouldn't I? What about that? Is that better for you people? But all that. All that. Oh, all that. Oh, look at the tiny me. I could make you all seasick in a minute. Like that. I should not check my property. We'll check with them this afternoon. Yeah, I think it's on Facebook message because I didn't have your email address. Yeah, so Facebook messaging is where I went for you, and I emailed Danny, like you do. But yeah, so hopefully that'll be a good one, like a bit of Q&A and whatever else we all want to know. Do you know what I mean? Got to share our knowledge, like we do. So that'd be happy days. Yeah, I had another message saying about blooming adverts. I was a bit confused. I've looked and I've made sure it's on like the moderate. It's like smack in the middle. Like I haven't touched it, so it shouldn't be too much in the world of adverts. But it does support channel geese. But yeah, I've had a few people say, "Oh, adverts every minute," and I thought, no, it's not adverts every minute, but I see what you're getting at. But normally I watch an 8-10 minute video on YouTube, and I normally have to sit through 1 or 2 ads. But I don't mind because I support the channel by doing so. But no one thinks like me, do they? So I don't know. Wonder what Kelly is working on at 5 a.m. Yes. Never know. She might tell us. Kelly, what you're working on at 5 a.m. Is it your herbs? No, I don't cook at 5 a.m. I bet you do research and then you just get carried away and then you can't sleep because been there, done that, got the t-shirt, blooming nightmare, isn't it? But yeah, it's all happy days. Happy days. And don't forget everyone, tomorrow, Thursday, 8 p.m, we are doing the Q&A for Julie Wandelt. So don't forget. But here today, we are on it for Lucy Letby. So I thought maybe we'll learn from the beginning together, and then at least we're all on the same plane. I know some of you may know stuff, so you have to throw it in the chat and let me know. And if you don't know, then hopefully by the end of this, you do know. And then we can all... It's always a missing persons case at 5 a.m. Is it? I bet. Yeah, I bet you... I did, yeah, because I sort of think... I saw your post. You're saying you're doing one. They're fascinating, aren't they? Wasn't it... is it Missing Persons Day or Missing Children's Day a couple of days back? I remember seeing that because anything to do with crime, me and my missus were nuts. So, because she was a bit shocked when I was doing some videos about aliens. She was like, don't do crime. And then obviously I fell down the Julie Wandelt thing and then Lucy Letby. There's there's all things going on. Oh, look. She said, I like the mystery, Kelly. I like the mystery. That's all good. So, but yes, Lucy Letby. She was born the 4th of January 1990. Who knew that? So she's 35. She actually, I actually thought she was a bit younger than that. I don't know why. But she was a former British neonatal nurse who was convicted of the murders of 7 infants and the attempted murder of 7 others between June 2015 and 2016. And she came under investigation following a high number of unexpected infant deaths, which occurred at the neonatal unit of the Countess of Chester Hospital 3 years after she began working there. So look at that. So we're learning already. Letby was charged in November 2020 with 7 counts of murder and 15 counts of attempted murder, and that was in relation to 17 babies. She pleaded not guilty. Well, you would, wouldn't you? Prosecution evidence included Letby's presence at a high number of deaths. See, when I read that originally, I was like, what do you mean a high number? I mean, for her to be guilty, all of them, surely. You can't say the high number of them, all of them. It's like someone get murdered and you're at home, but, you know, someone else got murdered and you were nearby. It's like, oh, well, all of them. Let's start. Present a high number of deaths, 2 abnormal blood test results, and skin discoloration interpreted as diagnostics of insulin poisoning and air embolism, inconsistencies in medical records, her removal of nursing handover sheets from the hospital, and her behaviour and communication, including handwritten notes interpreted as a confession. Well, so if I do that, you'll probably see it better. I didn't think of that, did I? So I'm here. In August 2023, she was found guilty on 7 counts, each of murder and attempted murder. She was found not guilty on 2 counts of attempted murder, and the jury could not reach a verdict on the remaining 6 counts. An attempted murder charge on which the jury failed to find a verdict was retried in 2024. She pleaded not guilty but was convicted. Letby was sentenced to life imprisonment with a whole life order. I mean, how crazy is that? Management at the Countess of Chester Hospital were criticised for ignoring warnings about Letby. See, this is, because everyone says like, oh, she's probably innocent and this and that. But the way this is worded, there's like more to it. Well, I'm on the fence. So I don't know. So the British government commissioned an independent statutory inquiry into the circumstances surrounding the deaths, which began its hearings in September 2024. Letby has remained under investigation for further cases. So not only has she got all that going on, they actually think she could be liable for others. And we're already talking about 17. I mean, it takes you back to memory. Do you remember that Harold Shipman, the doctor? Since the conclusion of her trials and the lifting of reporting restrictions, various experts have expressed doubts about the validity of her convictions due to contention over her medical and statistical evidence, technical errors, and the lack of clear motive. Medical professionals contested the interpreted diagnostics as not sufficient for criminal evidentiary use and implausible, arguing that autopsies indicated that infants had died of natural causes. See, now that would be a major issue. 2 applications for permission to appeal have been rejected by the Court of Appeal. The Criminal Case Review Commission and a new application to the Court of Appeal are pending. But that's when I found, is it this one? That's when this popped up, and I was like, so it's all going on. It is all going literally, because even the inquiry is being held back. Problem with this case is that a lot are still trying to get certain court filings, but claim they know she's innocent. Yes. That leads on basically even to this. So I zoom in so you can. I'm trying to hopefully do it so you can read it as good as I can, but this is what I found actually about the case. The Lucy Letby Inquiry has delayed publishing its reports amid ongoing fears of miscarriage of justice. So, like you say, they're blank faces. They're literally. I keep saying blank face. I'll read that. I should call you Kelly, shouldn't I? If that's your name. But then when I say blank faces, it's like giving everyone your channel name and they'll remember it. So there you go. Its findings were set to be released by the end of November 2025, but are now expected in early 2026. A statement on the Letby Inquiry website said. So even they're panicking. They've got some fears that there's an inconsistencies and a miscarriage of justice. I mean, you're talking about 17 murders. I mean, or attempted murders and murders, but she's convicted of murder of 7 babies and attempted murder of 7 others, so 14 there. And it's telling me that they got to delay the inquiry because they have fears that she might be innocent. I mean, it's a bit late, isn't it? I mean, who actually, after she was sentenced to 15 life terms in prison, the Letby Inquiry was started to find out how she was able to commit her crimes. However, since then, many experts have challenged the way in which the evidence was presented to the jury, and a panel of world-leading experts have reviewed the medical note and concluded that there were no malicious acts. So that in itself, so Lucy Letby, what? Is probably innocent, yet she's still banged up. That's how that comes across. Letby's case is being considered by the Criminal Cases Review Commission, which looked into potential miscarriages of justice, although police and the Crown Prosecution Service insist she was fairly convicted. Oh, here we go. See, as soon as they say that, especially with police and everything, pride getting in the way, don't want to be wrong, the embarrassment. They literally, but I mean, police do look for things that aren't actually there to get the result they want. So I'm not, do you know what I mean? As someone who used to want to be a police officer, I'm so glad I'm not, because they're more dodgy than good nowadays, admittedly. But they want to insist that she was fairly convicted, yet literally up there we're saying medical notes and concluded that there were no malicious acts. So that's absolutely crazy. There was a lot for the prosecution to summarise and a lot to redact. There will be parts missing for, GDPR reasons. Yeah, definitely. That's what I don't like about these. We never, like I think I said in the other live or something, even with Julie Wandell, there's always something that you don't get told, always. And that bugs me because obviously, but then I suppose it's not our job. Maybe I'm asking for too much. But yeah, you're right. I mean, they hold stuff back for the case because obviously it's relevant to the case and shouldn't get out. I get that, but you've got people like us, and then we could end up coming to the wrong conclusion because we didn't know or we weren't told. And sometimes they say stuff, and you think, well, you could have told people that. It's not. But yeah, this Lady Justice Letby is expected to send out warning letters from September 2025, and the final report will be completed by the end of November. The report will then undergo copy editing and typesetting ahead of publication in 2026. Warning letters are sent to those who may be subject to significant or explicit criticism in an inquiry report and allows them a chance to respond. Thing is, though, if she does whatever and they're wrong, they're wrong. Do you know what I mean? They try and defend themselves. It's annoying her defence team are kicking off with experts now, but where were they in the trial? Yeah, I know. Yeah, better late than never, as they say. But then it's not really, is it? Especially not for Lucy. It makes you laugh. But I don't know. There must be something going on of why that was or why that didn't happen. Do you know what I mean? It seems a bit strange, doesn't it? Like you say, annoying. I mean, blimey, what would it be for Lucy to know? Like, defence team are kicking off now. You're like, hang on, you could have done that during the trial. So, I mean, I don't really say much for our legal team, let's be honest. So, yeah, good call out there, Kelly. Good call out. Blank Faces Live. Oh, Blank Faces Live has a YouTube channel, by the way. So if you click on her little name where it says that in the chat, it'll take you there. You can subscribe. It does missing persons and all sorts of stuff in the world of crime. So, yeah, definitely worth a follow. I am subscribed to her channel myself. So there you go. Don't be jealous. Just go and subscribe. But in April, more than 400 healthcare workers, which included 200 nurses, called for a review of the Letby's case. They claimed her unsafe conviction had triggered a climate of fear in the NHS and that they have been gagged and prevented from speaking out on her behalf by the trust. I mean, that really doesn't bode well for the actual defence team. But you're probably right. You are probably right there, Kelly. I think the defence team didn't understand her case. Yeah, definitely. Bonjour, Mia. Welcome back. Can you tell I've got no restrictions on my live time? So instead of doing all my stuff to make videos, I just went live like this. So I can go live more often because I've got no restrictions. I was on 20 hours a month and I was 19 of them. I was like, I don't like being like, ooh, do you know what I mean? So I've upgraded. Geese. Yep. Subscribe for the vibe. Blank Faces Live. Subscribe for the vibe. Hi, Mia. Now they have been gagged due to patient confidentiality. Yeah, definitely. Do you reckon that those sort of like gagging orders, should we call them, or whatever, do you reckon that'll be a case of like, shut up or you lose your job? Would they lose their job? Great to hear more about the Letby case. Yes, I was hoping, Mia. When I do my videos, obviously I need to learn, and then I don't know if you know my videos. I don't do any cuts, edits, sound effects, nothing like that. I'll just hit record and I start. So I need to have everything in my head. And I thought, now I've got no restrictions with times of going live, I can actually show you the stuff that I'm reading, how I get me knowledge, and we can all do it together. And it's more the Gandalf gang, Wizard fam, whatever you want to call it. And we can do it all together then that way, because like I say, I've got no restrictions on time, so I can sit here for like 6 hours if I wanted. I won't hold you all that long. You end up with a beard like mine by the time we finish. Even the ladies. So yeah, 100%. Yeah, lose their jobs. Yeah. If that was my baby and the nurses came out talking about her, I would sue like a Karen on a mission. Yeah, of course you would. Of course you would. I mean, when my grandson was born, 8-9 months back, and you just think anything like this, it's terrible. But I probably would thought I'd be, you'd be going hell for leather, and because you're only being told whatever, you'd be going after Lucy Letby like a lion for a steak. Do you know what I mean? Or Great White. It would be, or the parents would be ruthless, absolutely ruthless. And then imagine that you see this. I mean, they're saying this is all between 2015, 2016. Here we are in 2025, 9 to 10 years later. And it's still being in speculation that she could be innocent. I mean, defamation of character. It's like ruining her life if she's innocent. But for this bit here that we just read, including 200 nurses, like they claimed her unsafe conviction had triggered a climate of fear in the NHS and that had been gagged and prevented from speaking out on her behalf by the trust. See, if I had the finances, etc., I'd go up there and I'd find all those nurses. I know you've been gagged, so I won't say it's you, but tell me blah blah blah, and I'll get all that info, and then I'll do it on YouTube. I'll tell the world, because it's only fair. There's to every story, and to be gagged, I think that's cheating. You can't gag people if they know the truth. Otherwise, we'll end up like we did with the Madame McCann case. You're just getting nowhere. It's all speculation. It's all opinion and views, which, you know, we're all entitled to our opinions and views. I don't want to go around accusing people when they're innocent. So that's why I'm very open-minded. And I assume you all are. So, but yeah. But you may know some things about this case that I don't mention here. So feel free to whack it in the chat. If, you know, share your knowledge. Let's all learn together. So it's all happy days. In 2024, Letby lost 2 bids to change her convictions at the Court of Appeal. See? In May for 7 murders and 7 attempted murders, and in October for the attempted murder of a baby girl, of which she was convicted by a different jury at a retrial. So they're not having none of it. They are literally having none of it. Challenge the convictions, but then there's certain people got to admit they're wrong. Like what you said, Kelly, they got her defence have to admit they were absolutely useless because, you know, if you got a good defence, then there wouldn't have been an issue, would there? They would have defended her. But, I mean, Cheshire Constabulary is continuing a review of deaths and non-fatal collapses of babies at the neonatal units at the Countess of Chester and Liverpool Women's Hospital during Letby's time as a nurse from 2012 to 2016. Would you also, I may be wrong here, but they're questioning from 2015 to 2016. She started in 2012. Now, if she had that certain mind where, for some strange reason, you want to take the lives of babies, you wouldn't have waited 3 years, would you? You know, the urge or the inner, what do you call it, inner serial killer or whatever it is, you would not wait 3 years, surely. A separate investigation by the force into corporate manslaughter and gross negligence manslaughter at the Countess of Chester Hospital is continuing. Well, but yeah, I don't know. I can't see. Just let me know in the chat. I mean, if you're that inclined, would you get the job in 2012? Would you wait till 2015 to start your murderous campaign, or would it have started earlier? Because, oh, I don't know. I don't know. It could have come in later. That urge, just saying, yeah. That's exactly, yeah. That's what I was asking. Yeah, I don't know if you're, you know, just because I'm saying it here or whatever doesn't mean it's true, does it? Or it's weird or anything like that. But yeah, like you say, it could have been over years. It built up inside her, and then she's like, you know, I've got an urge that I want to be a serial killer. But Robin Hood 46, welcome. I don't think I've said that name before, so welcome, Robin Hood. It is only people who believe the media when told she is guilty, who still think she's guilty. Everyone fresh to the case have serious doubts. Yeah, because yeah, the can you call it the psyops of getting it front? Because I mean, we always say like mainstream media, especially the BBC, you can see their one-sided stories and one-sided attacks and everything. But yeah, so if all you ever watch is being told Lucy Letby's guilty, she's guilty, they will still think she's guilty because they believe what they heard, even if it was 8, 9, 10 years ago. And like you say, people coming in complete fresh, new eyes, investigation-age, start reading stuff and looking at it with a clear mind without any outside influence, have serious doubts. That totally makes sense. I mean, I did sort of follow it at the very beginning, then I sort of dropped back. But even then, certain things were going round, and yeah, I think people don't like to admit they're wrong, like we do with Julia Wandale. Now, as soon as it comes out that she's not Maddie, like everyone bloomin' knows that, they all got to swallow their pride and admit they're wrong. But no, they will find a reason to continue that they're right. And I think it's going to be like this. I think that's going to be the same for Lucy Letby. All those that are saying guilty, when she's actually out, I'd be like, oh my God, she's guilty and they've let her out, blah, blah, miscarriage of justice. And they're going to attack it that way. So with all the information we have now, it's very hard to accept she is guilty. Yeah, it is. Because I keep saying like I'm on the fence, but I said a few times I'm more that I'm more inclined to think that she's innocent than guilty, if I'm honest. But I mean, I've got some stuff on the Wikipedia and that I was reading, and all the different bits and bobs. But even like the bit I just read, that it's quite worrying that you're gagging 200 nurses. And this bit up here, I found this. Like you can see there, senior Conservative MP has called on police to open a formal perjury investigation into the testimony of a consultant whose evidence helped convict Lucy Letby. Now, I'll be honest, when it comes to that little headline there and that, I did read it, I have to admit, so I know what's coming. But there's nothing coming out that solidifies a guilty verdict. It's the opposite. So what you're saying there, Robin Hood, I think you're probably right. Those who are giving it all the big, like she's guilty, were there from the beginning and had that smashed in their heads, and they can't see it any other which way. But like you said on this message, the information we have now, it's very hard to accept she's guilty. That's bang on. It is. It is quite hard. I mean, I'm quite open-minded, and if I was reading stuff and I thought she was guilty, then yeah, I'd be telling you. But you know, I'm on the fence. It's crazy. I'm not too impressed with our judicial system, put it that way. But this article that I found, I was like, you couldn't make it up. You could not make it up. Like, literally a formal perjury investigation. That's quite serious. I mean, lying to a court. And why would you do that? Sir David Davis last week wrote to the Chief Constable of Cheshire Constabulary to make a formal complaint against Dr. Ravi Jayaram, a consultant paediatrician at the Countess of Chester Hospital. Do you want to zoom in a bit up so you can read it? I'll try and make it as big as I can so you can read it. If it's too small, you have to tell me, because because when you watch this, you can always pause it and read it, and don't have to listen to my voice, whatever. The complaint relates to an email sent by Dr. Jayaram in 2017 regarding the attempted murder of baby K by Lucy Letby. See, all this is going on. Anyway, the former neonatal nurse was convicted and sentenced for this crime during a retrial last year at Manchester Crown Court. She is currently serving multiple life sentences for the murder of 7 babies and attempted murder of 7 others, which we know. And this is quite shocking. Baby K was born at the Countess of Chester Hospital at 2:12 a.m. on the 17th of February 2016, at just 25 weeks gestation, and she was placed on ventilation to help her breathe. Later that day, she was transferred to Arrow Park Hospital, part of Wirral University Teaching Hospital NHS Foundation Trust. But sadly, she died in her parents' arms on the 20th, which was just 3 days later. During the trial, the prosecution alleged that Letby attempted to kill baby K by dislodging her breathing tube. The jury heard evidence from Dr. Jayaram that he found Letby standing by baby K's cot and doing nothing as the child's condition was rapidly deteriorating. They heard that the neonatal nurse had not raised an alarm or called for assistance. As such, the prosecution argued that the consultant paediatrician had caught Letby virtually red-handed. However, this is the bit. An email allegedly sent in 2017 by Dr. Jayaram to senior members of staff at the hospital appears to directly contradict this evidence and suggests that Letby had, in fact, called him for help. The email, which was obtained by the Unheard website and seen by Nursing Times, said staff nurse Letby was at incubator and called Dr. Jairam to inform of low saturations. It also suggests that baby K's frailty was the cause of death. The email stated baby subsequently deteriorated and eventually died, but events around this would fit with explainable events associated with extreme prematurity. This is despite Dr. Jairam telling the police in 2017 that he was concerned that the baby's breathing tube may not have dislodged by accident. In a letter sent last week to Cheshire Constabulary's Chief Constable Mark Roberts, Sir David argued that there was a clear and concerning discrepancy between Jairam's sworn evidence and contemporaneous documents of the events. He claims that the email by Dr. Jairam would have been substantial relevance to Miss Letby's defence in the trial, but it was not disclosed by the police to her defence until after she was convicted. Sir David, who earlier this year called for a retrial of Letby in Parliament, further alleged from the material provided to the Crown Prosecution Service and was not discussed during the verbal inquiry, which has been examining the events at the hospital. His letter said the implications of this are serious. The jury in her retrial may have reached its verdict on the basis of misleading or incomplete testimony. Given that Dr. Jairam's statements formed a critical part of the prosecution's case, I believe there is a compelling public interest in determining whether perjury may have been committed. I mean, that's shocking. Due to the concerns about the conflicting testimony, Sir David set out in the letter that he wished to make a formal complaint against Dr. Jairam. Well, at least Sir David's on the ball then. I mean, blimey. I mean, that stinks. He added, Cheshire Constabulary now has a clear obligation to launch a formal perjury investigation into Dr. Jairam's testimony, or alternatively, confirm whether such an investigation is already underway. This matter goes beyond the outcome of a single trial. It touches on public confidence in the integrity of our criminal justice system, in particular the requirement to tell the truth under oath in court and the duty of full and fair disclosure during prosecution. When asked to comment, Cheshire Constabulary said Mr. Roberts had received the letter and that he will be responding in due course, addressing all the concerns raised. It comes amid rising criticism of the investigation into the Letby case, the trial process, and the legitimacy of expert witnesses. Earlier this month, some 400 healthcare workers, including nurses, review of the former neonatal nurses' convictions. I mean, it says a lot when the actual nurses are like, hang on a minute, do you know what I mean? Letby's legal team has asked the Criminal Case Review Commission to review her case and send it back to the Court of Appeal for reconsideration. It follows a report published in February by a panel of 14 international paediatric and neonatal experts, which claimed there was no medical evidence to support malfeasance in any of the cases heard at Letby's trial. Wow. Wow. I mean, just digest that for a moment. Get this ready. But what does that tell you? What does that tell you? Let me catch up. It's hard to admit being wrong to believe she's guilty. Yeah, that's a major hurdle. Why is that only people who believe the media? Why put everyone in a box to undermine their opinion? Yeah, I've always been a bit hesitant when it comes to media myself. I'm a bit like, I always have to look into stuff. It's natural. But then I suppose you're like that, are you, Kelly? Because what you do on your channel, you don't just hear something and go, ooh, you don't just read one thing, you find another and another and another, because it's all got to back itself up, hasn't it? How else do people learn about the case? The vast majority are only aware of the case because the media told us. Yes. So that's everyone, even those who believe she's guilty. Like you said, everyone got their info from. They did originally, I assume. Yeah. It isn't getting the info to the media that is the determining factor. It's believing it. Yeah. We sort of have it in us, don't we? So we believe what we hear. But I mean, I'm way too. Maybe like I just said, Kelly, you're the same. But I mean, I hear something and that's it. I won't let it drop. I'm like, let me find out for myself. Let me have a look. I like to sort of, especially anything from BBC News. Neil Wilby covers this and thinks she's not guilty. I think you would like his publications. Oh, I'll look into that. I mean, from what we just said there, even that though, the doctor like possible perjury. I mean, it's ridiculous. The public ain't the jury, but they acting like it, and the media give them the means to do it. Yeah, that's it. That's very true. Using unanswered questions to push a narrative. That sounded a bit direct. I know what you mean, but yeah, I mean, it's absolutely. It's one of those cases that's. I mean, from what we've just said here and what we're saying, like nurses, the perjury, and this and that. I mean, it just doesn't look good. It does not look good at all. And I reckon probably now, maybe even here that are watching, that believe she's innocent and guilty. But I mean, do you just watch the mainstream media and go, right, okay, this is it? Or do you look things up? Do you go to YouTube and look for other people, see what they say and what they think? I mean, that's the thing, isn't it? If some people ain't got the time, they're like, oh, I'll just watch the news and that's it. You're like, well, hang on a minute. So I expect to learn how we know she did the things she is accused of. It never happened. We only learn that some people believe she did them. Yeah, well, I just literally read a bit and it's saying that she was there for most. That's like if 10 people died, you're like, oh, you're there for 5. So, that's it. You've done all 10. Like, but I wasn't there for the other 5. And that's what that article come across as. Like, she was there for most. So Lucy Letby was there for most, yet, alas, not all. That's what that's telling me. And that is a red flag moment. Like, what? It's absolutely crazy. I mean, am I right in thinking that? I mean, blimey, let me know in the comments. Like I say, I mean, my opinions, views are just as valid as yours, so you can let me know in the comments. But like the one we just had with that doctor about the tube, like moving the tube or doing something like this, but now he's saying, oh well, no, actually. There would have been a better way, should we say, for Lucy Letby to sort of take the life than something like that. Or is that a way to try and make out, it's accidental au naturel? I think that means she has a witness being there for most, and they also had the logs for who entered and exited. Yeah, that's what I mean. Because you'd have all like your shift rotors, this, that, and everything else. And when you do stuff, yeah, even when I was in hospital, people come, they look at things, they sign it off, don't they, to say they've done whatever. But like in one of the bits we just read, it was saying that they disappeared, didn't they? But then how do we know that? That's just hearsay. I mean, that's the only article I've read that said something about the paperwork missing. So I may be wrong. There may be more that I've missed, but the thing with the data from the door is that some people hold the door open for workmates and can contradict the data. Yes, that's very true. That is very true. I mean, I'm glad I'm not actually like on the case. Cool. Be like pulling teeth. But it doesn't seem like there's anything previous where any nurse has ever picked up anything to do with Lucy Letby having it within her to do what she's been charged of. That seems a strange thing. And then you got like, was it 400 people, of which 200 nurses are saying they've been gagged, but they want to talk up and they will be on the side of Lucy Letby. So I've got a feeling that it's the people who wanted the convictions to explain something. I mean, does it come down more to the Chester Hospital being guilty of something? Or is it 100% natural that, you know, it's not down to the hospital or the staff? Sadly, the baby's died naturally. I mean, that's what I'd like to know. But then, like you said earlier, there's some things we're not going to know. But, you know, they're only going to say a bit of this and a bit of that, and there's certain things they're going to hold back. I get that. But I mean, could it be that there is no one to blame? There's literally no one to blame. I mean, would they be happy with that, or would they not? I mean, especially after this, because don't forget, I mean, blimey, if you're at Lucy Letby, I will be suing the living daylights out of all involved. And that I apparently murdered 7 babies and attempted to murder 7 others. I'll be like, no, I am suing. So they got that in their back of their heads. So now they're like, and their pride, and now they're like, oh no, she's guilty no matter what. I mean, to be Lucy Letby must, and I think from what we've read, questioning her defence, even when the accusation is proved to be not possible, she must have done it a different way, was accepted. Yeah, exactly. I mean, this is so crazy because even with Julia Wando, you're like, she's 2 years too old. Oh no, her birth certificate's fake. There's always an answer. There's always another reason. But if it's documented, like say, like with the baby K, that she moved the tube, and now it's near enough proven that she didn't, what would the different way be? Because there is no other way. It was more than likely natural. So, I mean, you're right there, though, Robin Hood. You know, it's not possible. Oh, it must have been done a different way. We missed it. Oh, well, that's fine. As long as, you know, she did kill her. Yeah, okay. Like, how does that hold up in a court of law? The UK is worrying me. I mean, I don't know. Let me know in the comments. I mean, I wonder how many people though actually saw the mainstream media, like you say, and that's it. Oh, she's guilty, and they won't budge because they won't bother to look for and listen to or read anything to the contrary. And that basically sums up the court then, doesn't it? Because that's sort of near enough where they're going. But Wikipedia, some people say whatever, but my God, out of all the places I've been and trying to find information, this page, whoever's done all this, genius. I mean, it's actually more in depth and better than all the other stuff. Some of the stuff, other than, I mean, the one with the doctor and the perjury and that was a good report. At least, like, some people are reporting it. But no, I don't even get how this all went. I cannot understand why lots of it held up in court. Yeah, that's literally what's going through my head then. Strange, I don't get it. Like you say, it doesn't add up. If it doesn't add up, because I thought it's beyond all reasonable doubt. That's the philosophy, is it not? It's crazy. Just don't get it. But yeah, I'm with you, Robin Hood, and blank faces. There's a lot there that needs to be sort of addressed, but I don't think it will. And I don't understand exactly what you said there, Robin Hood. I don't understand how it held up in court. It's crazy. I just don't get it. But let me know in the comments. What do you think? We mustn't forget a different judge advised the judge not to listen to the expert's opinion because he talks nonsense. See, I've not read that bit. That blimey heck. That's advise a judge. How can you do that? That's how can you be an expert and then they're saying, oh, but by the way, he talks nonsense. That's awful. Yeah. I mean, this doctor who's done perjury or whatever. Do you know what I mean? He's supposed to be an expert, but yeah, they think they can just talk, innit, and get through. But yeah, there are some expert grifters out there doing what they do and how they do it, like Julie Wandell. The core status for experts need to be reviewed. Yeah, it's like saying, "Oh, I've read the Wikipedia page, so I'm going to get called." Do you know what I mean? He's just like, "What? You got a pedigree, you got to have a background and whatever." But it's like having a psychic. Oh, I saw that she done this. Yeah, all right. No, but that's fine. You're an expert. What? Yeah, that's what I mean. There should be certain levels of like education, being competent in the field of, and are you peer reviewed, whatever. Yeah, that you'd think that'd be mandatory though, would you not? Just calling Joe Bloggs off the street. I mean, that's what they do with the actual jury, isn't it? The jury that come in, they're off the street, so to speak. They get asked, don't they, to do jury service and that. But it shouldn't be like that with the actual experience alone isn't enough for me. I want to see what they have learned by educational certificates. Yeah, exactly. So that's what I'm saying. Like peer reviewed, you've done papers, you've got qualifications. You should have the full shebang. Training. Yeah. There should be absolutely everything. I mean, your whole career documented it in a way that, coming from a wizard, that did make. Oh, what did I say? Did I make you laugh, geese? Was I talking about magic? No, I wasn't. But I can't remember what I said, geese. It takes me a while to get to messages, and I'll forget what I previously said. So my bad. But as long as you laugh, even at me being a donut, it's all good. But I'm a bit shocked, to be honest. From what I have read, that people are saying like she's 100% guilty. End of. I'm a bit like, wow, I don't know how you come to that conclusion, personally. But in June 2015, 4 collapses occurred in the same neonatal unit of Countess of Chester Hospital, 3 leading to infant deaths. The unit typically saw only 2 or 3 deaths a year. Arian Powell, the unit manager, and Stephen Breary conducted an informal review and reported the incidents to the Committee of NHS Foundation Trust, responsible for addressing serious incidents. Upon review, the committee classed the deaths as medication errors. Breary observed that Letby had been on shift for all of the incidents, but considered it an unsurprising coincidence. There was only one other qualified junior nurse in the unit, and Letby often worked extra shifts to cover for staffing shortages. He stated nobody had any concern about her practice. In 2023, reports from The Guardian and The Times stated he was suspicious of Letby beginning in 2015 and accused the hospital of negligence for ignoring his concerns. Well, that's a bit. nobody had any concerns about her practice. But then in 2023, newspapers report that he had suspicions of Letby beginning in 2015. So what happened in that then? Or was that to fit the narrative? Do you know what I mean? It's like, yeah, that'd be a blooming. That would be good, wouldn't it? Like they've done with the PJ files with Madeleine McCann, etc. Yeah, it would be good. Get people going through it. There's a lot of smart cookies out there. But the thing is, though, this is gonna be one of those cases, a bit like the Madeleine McCann case, where, like, you know, there is a truth, but you're not going to know it, and we don't want you to know it because it's going to ruin everything. Be a bit weird. Having only the media to revert to, who hold up these fake experts, make it hard to make an informed decision. Exactly. That's what I said earlier, wasn't it? I mean, you're a bit like, oh, you only got that to go on, and you grab that. I mean, the PJ files for the Madeleine McCann case, thousands of things to read, but it's there if you want it. Do you know what I mean? But like you say, but that may be sort of the idea, is to limit the sources of where you get it, so you can only get a certain narrative because it's only certain mainstream media people pumping all that out. Maybe that could be a good way of controlling the narrative or the agenda. The more we learn, the more it becomes apparent the whole case was a fiasco. That's probably a good word, fiasco. Yeah, yeah. I mean, it's crazy. Even this, like that bit I just read there, like they're saying one thing and then like a year later it's someone else. You're like, what? I don't get it. But there's always going to be more to this than what meets the eye. But are we going to get the information? But I think you're right, Kelly. They should start publishing the cases. I mean, because it's done and dusted. It's been to court and she's banged that up. So surely because obviously you're not going to do it before the blooming verdict or whatever. But afterwards or something, I mean, the cases should be there so they can get reviewed by anyone and everything. And then it would probably help with miscarriages of justice, which is what this is probably going to end up being, to be honest. Imagine that, though. But I mean, blimey, accused of killing 7 babies and trying to kill 7 others. I mean, there's miscarriages of justice, and then it's just full on, like, what is going on in the UK? It's crazy. During a hospital visit in February 2016, the Care Quality Commission was informed of difficulties in raising concerns with managers, but heard mention of an elevated mortality rate. The CQC's report identified issues of short staffing and skill mix issues within the unit, yet it praised the overall positive culture of the trust, where staff felt well supported, able to raise concerns and develop professionally. In May 2016, the executive team deemed the spike in deaths to be coincidental, and no substantial action was taken. Reports by the nationwide Embrace UK project found a neonatal death rate at least 10% higher than expected between June 2015 and 2016. Additionally, the neonatal death total in 2015 doubled that of the previous year. Stephen Breary phoned the duty executive on the 24th of June 2016, following 2 more deaths shortly after Letby returned from a holiday in Ibiza, demanding that she be removed from the unit. The duty executive insisted that Letby was safe to work. The Trust's executive directors convened at the end of June and discussed involving the police, but decided against it. The medical director and chief executive instead organised a review through the Royal College of Paediatrics and Child Health. Letby was removed from the unit, working her last shift there on June the 30th. The unit's service was scaled back by hospital managers on the 7th July 2016, cutting cot space numbers and increasing the gestational age for admission from a minimum of 27 to 32 weeks. The RCPCH was tasked with a general review of the unit's service, which was initiated in September 2016. October 2016, they reported they could not find a definitive explanation for the increase in mortality rate at the unit, but found insufficient staffing and senior cover. This is a good one. They praised Letby's nursing skills and urged that the concern about her came from a subjective view with no other evidence. The medical director asked neonatologist Jane Horden from Great Ormond Street Hospital to carry out detailed case reviews recommended by the RCPCH, but Howden said she did not have the time and instead did a brief review of the medical notes relating to 17 deaths and other incidents and produced a 5-page report. She concluded that 13 of the incidents could be explained and may have been prevented with different care, while the remaining 4 could potentially benefit from local forensic review as to circumstances, personnel, etc. Records of the hospital board meeting show the medical director telling board members that the RCPCH and Horden reviews concluded that the deaths in the neonatal unit were due to issues with leadership and timely intervention. The chair later said he had been misled about the depth of the Horden review and its findings. Well, what do you say? Does anyone know what they are looking for, what they dug up when they dug up her garden? Odd to think they're probably going to make out then that she had a baby and then buried it or something. Or is that evidence? But I mean, like say if you're injecting like syringes or something, but you wouldn't go take them home and bury them in your garden and get rid of them in medical waste that'd be gone there and done dust. I don't know. So if anyone knows what they were looking for, put it in the comments. Let us know. But nothing seems to fall into place there, does it? Nothing. Absolutely nothing. I mean, blimey heck. It's crazy. In September 2016, Letby raised a formal grievance about her late June 2016 transfer from clinical duties to the hospital's Risk and Patient Safety Office. This grievance was upheld by the board in January 2017, which determined her removal had been orchestrated by the consultants with no hard evidence. The medical director commented in the report that the trust's intention was to protect Lucy Letby from these allegations. The chief executive had met with Letby and her parents on the 22nd of December 2016 to apologise on behalf of the trust and assure them that the doctors who made the allegations would be dealt with. He later ordered the consultants to send a letter of apology to Letby, which they did in February 2017. So there. They've actually apologised and had to write letters to Letby. Make of that what you will. It's absolutely crazy. March 2017, 4 consultants, including Mr. Brewery and Mr. Jairam, asked management to involve the police after receiving advice from further investigation from the regional neonatal lead. They then met with Cheshire Constabulary on 27th of April 2017 to raise their concerns, with Letby due to return to work on the 3rd of May 2017. Brewery and Jayaram told the Cheshire Constabulary that infant collapses are nearly always explainable. In May 2024, staff writer Rachel Aviv for The New Yorker reported that a study of infant deaths in southeast London, published in the Journal of Maternal, Fetal and Neonatal Medicine, found that about half of unexpected infant collapses remain unexplained after autopsy. The Trust publicly announced the involvement of the police in May 2017, stating this move was to seek assurances that enable us to rule out unnatural causes of death. The investigation, designated Operation Hummingbird, lasted a year. Senior investigating officer Paul Hughes later said the initial focus was around hypotheses of what could have occurred. So generic hypotheses of it could be natural occurring deaths. It could be natural occurring collapses. It could be an organic reason. It could be a virus. And then one of the hypotheses was that obviously it could be inflicting harm. Wow. During the police investigation which followed, Evans was instructed to review clinical records of the babies in the unit who had died or collapsed suddenly. In total, 61 cases. Evans produced a large number of reports for the police, including a general statement dated 17th of April 2019, a review of published literature regarding air embolus in newborn infants dated 3rd of July 2019, and a series of reports considering the events surrounding the deaths of collapses of babies. Letby's trial opened on the 10th of October 2022, and Evans also remained lead expert witness during the trial. Evans' conclusions were peer-reviewed by Dr. Sandy Bowen, a practicing consultant neonatologist from Guernsey. Evans advised the police on the instruction of experts from specific specializations. Dr. Andreas Menoridis, forensic pathologist and histopathologist. Professor Owen Arthurs, consultant paediatric. Well, you can see that on the screen. I won't go over them. Initially, 61 cases of sudden infant collapse or death at the Letby's ward were investigated by Dewey Evans, but this was narrowed down to the total of 22 counts during the trial. So there we go. So before we get on with the trial, but I mean, what can you make of that? What can you make of that? It's all over the place. When you get that feeling that no one knows what they're doing, or the left hand's talking to the right hand and then it's ignoring it, that sort of rings a bell. I mean, you're talking like this is serious stuff, but there seems to be a few things going on here and there and everywhere, but no one's talking to each other. Seems a bit strange. But 61 cases down to 22. What? I'd like to know how they done that. Like, narrowed it down. Like, how do you narrow it down? And what was the parameters? Then it comes to the trial, the actual trial, and then after that we got the evidence. 2018. This is 3rd of July. Police arrested Letby on suspicion of 8 counts of murder and 6 counts of attempted murder. After Letby's arrest, police began investigating her entire career, including her time at Liverpool Women's Hospital. Letby was bailed on the 6th of July of 2018, but rearrested the 10th of June 2019 and bailed again on the 13th of June. And then on the 10th of November 2020, she was arrested once again and denied bail, Letby denied all charges against her and pointed to issues of hospital hygiene and staffing levels. Letby's trial began on the 10th of October at the Manchester Crown Court before Mr. Justice Goss. She pleaded not guilty to 7 counts of murder and 15 counts of attempted murder. Letby's parents and the families of the victims attended the trial. The neonatal victims were referred to as Baby A to Baby Q, which the jury were asked to consider in 22 counts. The press secrecy around the identities of the 17 babies and 9 colleagues who gave evidence was rarely seen outside proceedings involving matters of national security. 2 years before the criminal trial, Mrs. Justice Stein banned the identification of the living victims until their 18th birthday. Several adult witnesses requested what's that word? I'll tell you, I remember our last slide with the anonymity. I actually struggled, which is rarely granted. I'll ignore that word unless testifying would endanger their lives. The judge approved these requests, ruling that getting testimony from the colleagues was more important than them being publicly identifiable. A bit of a precedent there then. The mother of baby E described hearing her infant scream and walking in to find him with blood around his mouth and Letby in the room. She testified that Letby had attributed the blood to a nasogastric tube, saying, "Trust me, I'm a nurse." The baby's condition soon worsened and he died a few hours later. Letby later sent sympathy cards to the parents on the day of the baby's funeral. Upon Letby's arrest, it was found on her phone that she had photographed the card before she sent it and had still kept pictures of it. It was also revealed during the trial that Letby had to be told more than once not to enter a room where the parents of one of the victims were grieving. Letby told a colleague that taking child A to the mortuary was the hardest thing she ever had to do. The Crown Prosecution Service cited texts sent by Letby to friends, describing them as a live blogging of events and as displaying intrusive curiosity. 3 days after the death of baby A, Letby had messaged the manager of the unit offering to do more shifts, saying, "From a confidence point of view, I need to take an ITU baby soon. X," which is a kiss. 2 days later, she had a heated text exchange with a colleague over her manager not assigning her to the intensive care room. Shortly after the exchange, baby C's condition worsened and he died the following day. After the third baby death in a fortnight, 2015, Letby replied to a text from a sympathetic colleague saying that she would keep ploughing on and added, "I think there is an element of fate involved. There is a reason for everything." About 2 hours after the collapse of baby M, Letby sent text reading, "Work has been SHIT, but I have just won £135 on Grand National horse emoji. And unpacking party sounds good to me with my flavoured vodka. Ha ha." Letby had also searched for the families of several infant victims on Facebook, including on the anniversary of the baby's deaths and on Christmas Day. The prosecution said that she would search for a number of them within minutes of each other, as if hunting for grief. In total, Letby had searched for 11 of the families affected. Letby testified that this was out of genuine curiosity and said, "I was always on my phone." She searched for the families of infants 31 times during the year the deaths took place. She searched for other people 2,287 times. The prosecution Letby's case argued that suspicious incidents began in 2015, when Letby qualified to work with infants in intensive care and that in April 2016, when the ward manager reassigned Letby from night shift to day shifts, their distribution shifted accordingly. A consultant testified that in February 2016, he had walked in on Letby standing over a desaturating infant and failing to intervene. He said that Letby had responded to his questions by telling him that the infant had only just started declining. The infant in question survived the collapse. Between March and June 2016, another 3 babies almost died while under Letby's care. Towards the end of June, she was helping care for triplets. Consultants said that they had been in good health, and the death of 2 boys on consecutive days were causing staff considerable distress and shock. In August 2015, one infant, referred to as baby E, died within hours of his twin, baby F, became seriously unwell but fully recovered later the same day. During the police investigation, a doctor helping police look over clinical records noticed unusual blood tests for baby F and one other infant, which was baby L. A third blood test result with similar characteristics was later discovered in the clinical records by the prosecution's lead expert witness. The first two of these test results resulted in attempted murder charges and became central to the trial, but Letby was never charged in relation to the third. The prosecution argued that the test results demonstrated deliberate poisoning by insulin. Their lead expert witness described this evidence as the smoking gun. Since the trial, this interpretation of the blood test results has been disputed by the experts. So there you go. Even that is like everything seems to get disputed. And at the same time as baby L's blood sugar collapse, his twin brother baby M unexpectedly collapsed while under Letby's care, but managed to survive after 30 minutes of resuscitation. The prosecution argued that Letby had injected air into his bloodstream. The prosecution also noted that, although by this point she was not supposed to work night shifts, Letby was caring for baby L as she specifically volunteered to do an extra shift to care for her. A paediatrician testified that he and other clinicians had previously raised concerns about Letby, but were told by hospital administration that they should not really be saying such things and not to make a fuss. Another doctor testified that Letby commented an hour before one victim died, "He's not leaving here alive, is he?" The doctor replied, "Don't say that," and left the ward, overruling Letby's objection. Letby's trial testimony is consistent with the doctor returning to the ward after a cigarette, although the consultants made a desire to have Letby removed from duties known to hospital staff after the triplet incident. This was refused, and the next day, another baby almost died under Letby's care. Well, the prosecution presented the jury with a shift chart showing Letby as the only nurse on duty for 25 incidents, which included swipe data to show Letby's movements around the unit. Referring to the chart in his opening remarks, prosecuting barrister Nick Johnson said, "By a process of simple elimination, Letby must be responsible for the incidents." Since the trial, statisticians and others have questioned the use of this chart and were included on it or not. After her removal from duty and the downgrade of the unit, to no longer admit infants requiring intensive care or those born before 32 weeks, the unexpected deaths stopped. Letby was accused of falsifying times on patient records so as not to be placed at the scene of the collapse. She denied doing so and suggested that the changes were errors made by her or another nurse. Criminal psychologist David Holmes has argued that the very methods she was said to have used to attack the infants, such as insulin and air injections and overfeeding milk, would all have been specifically chosen of things that would dissipate and not be easily detected afterwards. So there you go. That's crazy. The medical board didn't believe the consultant's tales of her inflicting harm. The police did. They then had Dr. Evans, as an expert, make up theories as to how she could have harmed them. Yeah, so that's probably, that sounds, yeah. It's like, because of what happened, it's like they're trying to make a case out of nothing to explain. Yeah, that is strange. But I mean, if you're going to take the life of anyone, whether it's a baby or not, you'll have, oh, I forgot that banner at the bottom. Let me stop that. That gets annoying, doesn't it? He says an hour and 20 minutes later. If you know, you'll have a certain way of doing things. It seems strange that they're saying like 3 different ways, like overfeeding milk, insulin, and air injections. Well, if you were doing what you do, you'd have one. You'd think, oh, the air injections, I can get away with that. That would be your method of attack. I don't understand how you'd have 3 different, because normally, unless whatever happens in that, but you know, if you're a serial killer, you do the same thing. I mean, it seems a bit strange to have 3 different methods to kill when normally, you'd only ever see one. But I mean, because you're both, if you sort of go with a knife, you'll go with a knife. If you use a gun, you use a gun. If you use poison. You don't then suddenly go, oh, right, I've been using poison. I've got away with it with 8 bodies. Let me go and stab someone. You wouldn't. You'd continue with poison. So it seems a bit strange that there's 3. I don't know. Let me know in the comments. What do you think? What do you think? But seems a bit strange. I don't know. I might be wrong. Handwritten notes. This was weird. Searches of Letby's and her parents' home and Letby's handbag revealed post-it notes handwritten by Letby. These included fragmentary phrases such as "Help," "I'm sorry that you couldn't have a chance at life," "I don't want to do this anymore," "Not good enough," "Why me?" "I haven't done anything wrong," "We tried our best and it wasn't enough," "I am evil, I did this," and "I killed them on purpose because I'm not good enough to care for them." Another document that was presented said, "I don't know if I killed them. Maybe I did. Maybe this is all down to me." So even that comes across more to do with the care, isn't it? You're there doing whatever you do, like for your job. You're there for a reason, and feeling like she's failing. I killed them on purpose because I'm not good enough to care for them. The defence argued that the notes were the anguished outpouring of a young woman in fear and despair, written while Letby was dealing with employment issues, including a grievance procedure with the NHS Trust. The prosecution said the notes expressed Letby's frustration at being removed from the neonatal unit. Since the trial, criminology experts have contested the prosecution's interpretation of the notes. Letby denied that the notes were a confession, describing them as a reflection of her mental turmoil written while she was being investigated. The Guardian, in its reporting after the verdict, described the notes as the closest the prosecution had to a confession. They later reported that the notes had been written on the advice of Letby's GP to help her process the extreme stress of being investigated. So even the Guardian sort of wants to jump on and change the narrative to suit them. Letby's diary was also found to be marked with the initials of the dead babies. Initials of those who had died were found to have been marked on the dates they were born, the days the prosecution alleged she attacked them, and on the days that they died. Searches of Letby's home found sensitive medical documents under her bed, including nursing handover sheets, resuscitation records, and blood gas readings. Of the 257 sheets, 21 related to infants Letby had allegedly harmed. Letby testified that she collected paper and had forgotten to remove the sheets from her pockets at the hospital. She also claimed that she could not destroy them, but a paper shredder was found at her home. Wow. It's extremely unlikely, but not impossible. Everything in this case is accepted as factual simply because it is possible. Yeah. And that's dangerous. That is dangerous. I mean, there's got to be more people thinking that she could be innocent than guilty, surely. Like so, we're only getting like the crumbs, should we say? We're not getting the actual proper, full-on, big, juicy files that actually have all the information in it. Do you know what I mean? This is just what people know and it's put out there. But like even what I just read there, the Guardian sort of, this sell newspapers. Let's go with this narrative. Do you know what I mean? So it's not really much that people can go with. But Letby did herself give evidence to the court in May 2023. When questioned by her defence barrister, she became tearful, claiming she was made to feel as though she was incompetent but meant no harm. Letby said that the allegations had negatively impacted her mental health, saying, "I don't think you can be accused of anything worse than that. I just changed as a person. My mental health deteriorated. I felt isolated from my friends on the unit." It was also noted that she repeatedly contradicted herself, muddled up her story, and became more and more frustrated with the prosecution's questions, which was unlike her usual calm demeanour. Wow. You're being accused of something. I mean, there comes a time when anyone and everyone's going to possibly lose it. Do you know what I mean? So to speak, and confusion, but maybe that's what they were planning and hoping. Because if you're a hospital and things aren't going too well, blame someone. I mean, blimey, that's not just in the world of the NHS, is it? Every single job, something goes wrong, there's someone to blame. Oh, okay, sack them. And there's always someone to blame but themselves when it comes to employment. But this is Letby's defence arguments, and obviously they're quite important. But again, I mean, we're not going to get all the information. We're going to have so much, and then that's our lot. But Letby's defence lawyer said that Letby was a nurse in a system which has failed. And we all know the NHS is absolutely falling on its bum cheeks, so to speak, isn't it? That the prosecution's case was driven by the assumption that someone was doing, combined with the coincidence of certain occasions of Miss Letby's, and that there had been a massive failure of care in a busy hospital neonatal unit, far too great to blame on one person. The defence argued that extraordinary bleeding in one infant could have been caused by a rigid wire or tube. The defence argued that the evidence presented by the prosecution was insufficient to justify their theories of how the infants were harmed. They argued that the evidence suggesting air embolism was so weak that there was no case to answer. Defence barrister Benjamin Myers pointed out that air embolism made no appearance in Letby's internet search. They did not call any medical experts of their own to the witness box. You think they would have? I mean, you're talking about defence. I mean, how serious, more serious do you want it to have some sort of like medical expert called to a witness box? That's very strange. The only defence witness other than Letby herself was a plumber who testified that plumbing issues at the hospital led to a sewage washing up into the sinks on the unit. He told the jury that issues like this at the hospital led to him being called out maybe weekly. The defence argued that these hygiene issues could contribute to explain the unit's high mortality rate. In November 2024, interview by John Sweeney, Dewey Evans acknowledged the presence of pseudomonas in the neonatal unit's water supply, leading to several cases of pneumonia. Letby's defence attempted to argue no case to answer on the grounds that 1. None of the experts who have been given evidence on the topic of air embolus had a sufficient clinical experience and expertise to do so. Number 2. The research basis for air embolus as cited in the evidence was too vague and inconsistent and failed to match the requirements of scientific evidence capable of supporting that diagnosis. And number 3, the prosecution experts were inconsistent in their descriptions of the characteristics required to support the diagnosis of air embolism. Justice James Goss ruled that there was a sufficient body of accepted expert medical opinion that administration of air into the venous system could cause air embolism, which might be fatal. That is strange. Very strange. Final verdicts were returned by the jury on the 18th of August 2023. Letby was found guilty of 7 counts of murder of 7 babies, making her the most prolific child killer in modern UK history. Letby was also found guilty of 7 counts of attempted murder of 6 infants. Letby was found not guilty on 2 counts of attempted murder. The jury was unable to reach verdicts on 6 further attempted murder charges. Nicholas Johnson Casey asked the court for 28 days to consider whether a retrial would be sought for these 6 counts. Here are the babies in question and the charge. But Again, it just seems strange that you got the air embolus, insulin, overfeeding with milk. Like baby N, attempted murder, throat trauma. That's strange. But you can see there, that's the jury acquitted Letby of the attempted murder counts 9, baby G, and 10, baby H, and could not reach a verdict on counts 11, baby H, 13, baby J, 14, baby K, 18 and 19, baby N, and 22, baby Q. Well, on August the 21st, 2023, Letby was sentenced to life imprisonment with a whole life order, the most severe sentence possible under English law. She is the fourth woman in UK legal history to receive such a sentence. Goss said that Letby committed a cruel, calculated, and cynical campaign of child murder involving the smallest and most vulnerable of children. In closing, he stated, there was a deep malevolence bordering on sadism. You, Letby, have no remorse. There are no mitigating factors. The offences are of sufficient severity to require a whole life order. Letby opted not to attend the sentencing hearing, and as such heard neither the various victim impact statements which were read out nor her sentence being passed. After the trial, Letby was transferred to Low Norton, a closed prison for women in County Durham. As of January 2024, Letby is being held in HM Prison Bronzefield. And then we have the motives. No motive was upheld by the court, though it is not required for finding of guilty. The prosecution in Letby's case suggested several theories, include boredom, thrill-seeking, and playing God as possible motives. I don't think thrill-seeking and boredom are actual. I mean, playing God, power type thing, yeah, but they also alleged that Letby had a secret relationship with a married doctor involved with some of the cases. As evidence, they cited Letby's frequent texts to him on certain night shifts, as well as a piece of paper from Letby's office where she had written phrases, including, I trusted you with everything and loved you. You were my best friend, and please help me. Letby denied all these suggestions, including the idea that she had a relationship with or a crush on the doctor in question. The former detective who acted as lead investigator on the 90s Beverly Alec case drew parallels between Alec's and Letby's cases, suggesting that Letby might have copied Alec's methods. Criminal psychologist Dominic Wilmot and David Holmes suggested that Letby may have been motivated by factitious disorder imposed on another, a theory also proposed about Alec. Factitious disorder imposed on another. And that's supposed to be criminal psychologists. David Wilson, an emeritus professor of criminology, published an August of 2023 opinion piece in The Guardian. Opinion, argued that Letby was driven by a hero complex. Later that month, Wilson discussed Letby on Newsnight, where he argued that healthcare killers joined the profession in order to target the very old or the very young. This seems a bit strange. And then there he is on Newsnight and everything. I mean, a hero complex. What about babies dying? Yet he's on Newsnight and an opinion piece in The Guardian. It's like he's trying to make a name for himself. I don't know, just... In January 24, Letby applied to the Court of Appeal for permission to appeal her conviction, which a judge refused. Letby renewed her application, and at a 3-day hearing in April 2024, her lawyers put forward 4 grounds of appeal concerning the trial judge's refusal of applications. But in May 2024, the 3 judges of the Court of Appeal, Dame Victoria Sharp, Lord Justice Holroyd, and Mrs. Justice Lambert, refused permission to appeal. As part of the appeal, Letby's counsel, Ben Myers, again tried to question the inclusion of evidence by Dewey Evans, a doctor and the prosecution's lead witness, saying it would have been disallowed as evidence as he had been dogmatic and biased. The appeal judges rejected these criticisms, ruling that Evans did not lack impartiality. He was well qualified to give an opinion, and it was up to the jury to assess the quality of his evidence. He was well qualified to give an opinion. I thought it was about talking facts like this. They, be a bit more on it, but. The retrial in 2023 September. On the 25th of September, the CPS confirmed that there would be a retrial on 1 of the 6 counts of attempted murder against Letby, on which the jury at the original trial could not reach a verdict. This was not to start until after judges had decided whether or not to grant Letby permission to appeal against her existing convictions. And on the 2nd of July, Letby was found guilty of attempted murder, and on the 5th of July 2024 was sentenced to another whole life order. And needless to say, the Court of Appeal rejected Letby's application, so there's no chance of appealing. And the Farewell inquiry, that is literally what's just been delayed. That was due out on the September 25, and now it's been delayed till 2026. So, what do you make of that? There's something going on. Like I said, like the thing I read earlier, there's a big fear there. There's an actual fear of a miscarriage of justice. So, but even Letby's conviction, the British government ordered an independent inquiry into the circumstances surrounding the deaths and other incidents. The Department of Health and Social Care said the inquiry would examine the circumstances surrounding the deaths and incidents, including how concerns raised by clinicians were dealt with. It was affirmed that the inquiry would be non-statutory, so witnesses could not be compelled to give evidence, and inquest would still be necessary. The Trust's medical director, chief executive, and the nurse director at the time of the incidents all commented they would fully cooperate with the inquiry. The medical director retired in August 2018, and the chief executive resigned in September 2018 after signing a non-disclosure agreement. Well, why would you do that? Slater and Gordon, a law firm representing 2 of the victims' families, issued a statement calling for an inquiry to have the power to compel witnesses to participate. Since a non-statutory hearing must rely on the goodwill of those involved to share their testimony, the need for a statutory inquiry was a view echoed by, among others, Sir Robert Buckland, former Secretary of State for Justice Samantha Dixon, MP, blah, 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 House of Commons, Sir Keir Starmer, the Leader of the Opposition, and Parliamentary Healthcare Ombudsman. So, a group of 24 neonatal and statistical experts wrote a letter to ministers requesting that The inquiry be postponed and its terms changed in response to concerns about the safety of Letby's convictions. The inquiry rejected these suggestions, and that was in August 2024. And that was literally in response to concerns about the safety of Letby's conviction. Education Minister Gillian Keegan said that the type of inquiry would be reviewed after the chair was appointed. On the 30th of August 2023, Health Secretary Steve Barclay announced that the inquiry had been upgraded to a statutory inquiry, describing it as the best way forward and mean that witnesses would be compelled to give evidence. Lady Justice Thirlwall was appointed to chair the inquiry. The terms of reference of the inquiry were published on the 19th of October 2023, updated 22nd November 2023, when she formed. They've had to delay it due to a fear of miscarriage of justice. There's definitely something going on there. So, what do you think? Let me know in the comments. But that's a lot of charges. But even in that, there's not like evidence where you think to yourself, right, yeah, 100% guilty. There's nothing there. It's innocent, guilty, who knows? But we're not going to get the ins and outs, are we? But from what we're reading, there's some things you think, there's other things where you're like, nah, but but they're not allowing any type of appeal, which is strange because, I mean, you're talking literal whole life sentences. It just seems strange. Like I think on the synopsis of the case so far that I've done, and I used the word scapegoat. That's probably going to come up a bit more. It probably is a scapegoat, but I don't know. What do you think? Let me know in the comments. Let me know in the comments what you think. I mean, gone through a fair bit there, and it seems a bit, even on that, it's on shaky ground. I don't know how people think it otherwise. It's a bit strange, but I'm confused by the 3 different methods to kill. I mean, if you're a serial killer, you have one way, from what I've learned. I may be wrong, but I'd assume there'd be one way of killing, and that'd be it. So if she chooses like the air embolus, that would be it. Like inject air, then that's what you'll do every single time. But overfeeding of milk seems a bit strange. What a weird option when all you got to do is the air embolus. I don't know. That's what I'm thinking. It's strange. What do you think? What do you think? What do you think? Let me know in the comments. I'm a bit confused. So that's probably the one thing that stuck out to me more than anything is the three different ways to kill. I may be wrong, but from what I've learnt in my time, that there's always 3. There's always 1, not 3. Overfeeding with milk, insulin poisoning, and air embolus. Seems strange. I don't know. Who am I to say, eh? Who am I to say? But I don't know. It just seems weird. What do you think? How many different ways do you think a serial killer would want to kill? Honestly, I thought it'd be 1. Honestly, But yeah, that's basically where I was at, having a look this morning and seeing what's going on in the world of Lucy Letby. Will she actually get an appeal with what's going on? I mean, why are they delaying the release over fears of miscarriage of justice when there's nothing coming from the Lucy Letby camp to say like they're doing whatever because of? It's just all delay tactics. I mean, they could be talking to, say, Lucy Letby's defence team right now, saying, oh, this and that, but they're like, no, because that report's not coming out until next year now, so she'll be staying in jail until then. And if this is a miscarriage of justice and Lucy's proven to be innocent, which so many of us think she is, then it will ruin many a career, and rightly so. I bet they will, by that time they'll be retiring or whatever. But Lucy Letby will be able to sue left, right, and centre. I mean, it's ruined her life. All the victims, the parents, they're going to have to go through this, that, and blooming everything else. But then to be told it was natural, and they've spent all that long like thinking that someone had actually murdered them. I mean, the whole situation absolutely stinks. There's no one who's going to come out of this mentally sound. Everyone's going to be damaged in one way or another. I mean, this sort of stuff will scar for life. It's crazy. But this sort of sums it up. The more we learn, the more it becomes apparent the whole case was a fiasco. It does seem that way. What do you think? Let me know in the comments. Absolutely crazy. I'm lost for words. I mean, I don't know. What do you think? Let me know in the comments. What do you think? What do you think? Let me just that's worrying. A senior Conservative MP has called on police to open a formal perjury investigation, which I read earlier, to the testimony of a consultant whose evidence helped convict Lucy Letby. I mean, there's so much, but like I said, there's information we haven't got, admittedly. But I mean, this was Sir David Davis, I believe, if my mind serves me correctly, has brought this up. But Dr. Jayaram could well have said stuff under oath, which was not true. That in itself, just that one thing will bring into question a lot of other parts of the case, surely. But why would Dr. Jayaram actually commit perjury? To say one thing, but to email something else. There's nothing that seems to be 100% sound in this case. Everything can be questioned, and for this to come out, I mean, at least Sir David Davis is actually willing to say this, do this, and it's up here now in the press or whatever. But you're talking about a so-called doctor who's lied under oath, and they have email evidence that he's saying the opposite to what was actually said under oath. So where do you go from that? So his testimony would have to be thrown out. So where does that then hold the conviction? Whether it's like the whole conviction or many convictions or even one conviction. But that one doubt, well, then you'd have to look at the whole case again. And like the further inquiry being delayed due to fears of miscarriage of justice, which I keep saying. Let me know in the comment, what do you think? Is he innocent, guilty, scapegoat? Will something come out? Will more be said? I mean, what's going on? I mean, it's not going to put the UK in a very good light in the world of well, in the world of anything, right? Actually, so I mean, it's crazy, absolutely crazy. But yeah, it's coming across more as a fiasco. Let me know. What do you think in the comments? Get in the comments. I've been talking long enough. I'm interested to see what you think, what you say. Do you have an opinion? If you have an opinion, get it in the comments. But yeah, trying to make a decent decision. Like Kelly said earlier, mainstream media, they will only ever pump out one narrative, their chosen narrative, their agenda, or powers that be decide. And that's not right. But, you know, if that's all we're going to hear, I think someone said earlier, like, you know, you hear it for so long, you'll believe it. But then there is the chance that she could have actually be innocent. But you've heard it for that much that she's guilty. And, like, you know, you're talking about babies. You cannot get more innocent than newborn children. I mean, it's so this, not only is it a delicate situation, it's just the fact that it's such innocent victims. But the mainstream media is pushing out guilty, guilty, guilty. But now this is coming out. There's nothing like actually coming from mainstream media saying like Lucy Letby case. It's on thin ground. There seems that, you know, like there could be a perjury investigation going on, and there's none of that. Why is that not in the press? Because it doesn't fit the narrative. And to delay an inquiry due to fears of a miscarriage of justice, but leaving Lucy Letby hanging in the prison, delay tactics. Do they know more than what we know, and they know the inevitable is Lucy Letby will be freed and suing the living life out of them all? Or what? Because where does this put the actual victims, the families? How are they going to deal with it? We thought our child was murdered, it was now natural, we've been through it, that, everything else. It's absolutely bloody awful. I mean, we think we've been given the facts, but are we? Are we really getting the facts? I don't know. I would like to say, if I'm honest with you, because, you know, it's been here, there, and everywhere. It's absolutely crazy. I mean, that's my favourite word, crazy, but I don't know. But let me know, what do you think? Jump in the comments, tell me what you think. Tell me what you're thinking. But it's looking like, from what we're going through, what we've had here in the last couple of hours, what we're reading, that it's not looking good for their convictions, is it? I mean, blimey. But I'll always keep going back to the 3 different ways. of taking lives where you'd only ever have one. That bugs me more than anything. I'm a bit confused with that, but maybe someone will correct me or whatever, but let me know in the comments or in the live chat, either. But this has been going on for so long, and I think the defence could have done a lot better. But even with their naivety, we're getting to the point, excuse me, where people have a genuine fear of a miscarriage of justice. So what does that tell you? There are people out there that actually think that Lucy Letby is genuinely innocent, and the knock-on effects of that are going to be huge, colossal. I mean, for one, Lucy Letby will be on every single channel with her story of how she was accused and charged and served time falsely for killing vulnerable newborns. I mean, the whole thing is a horror story for every single person involved. But will they let it out, or would they would they rather sacrifice someone like Lucy Letby and keep her in prison for something she hadn't done rather than anything else? I mean, that's another dangerous side of it. I really don't know. It's awful. But let me know, what do you think in the comments? Let me know in the live chat. But yeah. Well, I don't think I really have anything else to say. I'm done on that. Obviously, I'm going to be doing more research, rereading things and learning. But it's got to be the most strangest, weirdest case that we've had for a long time. It really is. There's a few things that don't make sense to me. Whether they make sense to you or not, I do not know. But let me know. But yeah, if no one has any comments, then we can wrap it up. But let me know in the comments if you have a view or an opinion, whatever it is you may think. But other than that, I think I'm done. I've said my bit. It's strange, so strange. The sort of case will end up doing even more damage in the long term, which is not good. But yeah, I am leaning a lot more towards, like, hang on a minute, she could be innocent, and that's shocking, for what the crimes are. But let me know in the comments if there's anything you want to say. Just don't believe everything you hear on mainstream media. But yeah, that's me going through all that. Whether I'm going to be going through anything else with a different case tomorrow, I do not know. I'll make it up as I go along, me. But I will be live Tuesday. Who said Tuesday? I will be live Thursday, 8 p.m. Q&A. Ask away about Julia Wandell. Hopefully we'll have Kelly and Danny. Blank Faces live. And the real Julia Wandell on Facebook, or Through the Looking Glass on YouTube. That's their places, their channels. Go subscribe and follow and do. Make sure you follow them. Yeah, it's Through the Looking Glass. I think it's a little line. TTLG. And there's also Blank Faces Live, all on YouTube. And they are indeed on Facebook, so look them up. The real Julia Wandell is Through the Looking Glass on Facebook. So anything and everything to do with real Julia Wandell without any of the rubbish and the delusions, the facts only, then go there, go follow. It's all happy days. But yeah, it's been a pleasure, and that's 2 hours, blimey heck. So that's some facts about the Lucy Letby case. But let me know in the comments what you think. I'll be very interested to see if you're someone who's taken in by the mainstream media or not, or whether you make up your own mind, or whether you actually do research. Once you hear something, do research. Do you look it up? I do. I have to. Just because I hear it once, it doesn't. There's nothing. A fact is not a fact until it is a fact. Heard that from Mr. Steeples, Matthew Steeples. That's very true. Very, very true. So, yeah, happy days. If no one has got anything else they want to say in the world of Lucy Letby, but I'm all out. I'll end up losing my voice. I will when I'm talking. I've got verbal diarrhea. I think the wife was right. Yep, that's happy days. No one has any questions or any views or opinions. Give you a minute to put it in the chat. Otherwise, we will come to an end. And I will continue my journey through the Lucy Letby case. Obviously, it's got to be done. So happy days. So thank you to all and everyone who's been in the chat and watching. It's very educational. I hope it's been educational. And if need be, and you push for time, put it on 1.5 speed. Get through it. It's happy days. So in the meantime, my friends, be wizard, stay wizard. That's the wizard's words.